For those of you keeping an eye on AI, you've definitely heard about its incredible potential, how it's set to change everything.
Absolutely, the hype is everywhere.
But what if there's a fundamental flaw kind of hiding beneath the surface of most of these systems?
A pretty serious one,
We're
yeah.
talking about AI hallucinations.
Mm.
That's where the AI just confidently gives you information that's, well, completely wrong,
Yeah.
factually incorrect.
Right. It sounds right, but it isn't.
Now, imagine you're, say, a small auto parts maker in Coimbatore.
Yeah.
You're trying to use AI for inventory.
Okay, makes sense.
And it tells you totally confidently, yep, you've got 10,000 of this part, but you actually have none. Zero.
Oof, that's not just an error, that's a disaster waiting to happen. Disruptive doesn't even cover it.
Exactly. And that's why this is so critical for a huge part of the global economy. India's small and mid-sized manufacturers, the MSMEs.
Mm-hmm. The backbone, really.
We've been looking at this fascinating piece from the Economic Times. It really highlights the problem, but also, interestingly, points to a deep tech company claiming they have a unique fix.
Vexu Labs, right.
That's the one. So our mission today for this deep dive is to unpack what these hallucinations actually are, why they're such a liability for real businesses,
A huge liability.
and what Vexu Labs is doing differently, building AI for, as they put it, the real world.
Yeah.
This is for you, the listener, who wants to get beyond the headlines, understand the what and the so what.
And the seriousness of these hallucinations, it really can't be overstated. Like you said, it's not just some technical quirk.
No.
It's a major operational risk, a financial risk, especially for businesses where decisions immediately impact the physical world, the bottom line.
Right.
The article talks about this sort of silent crisis facing Indian MSMEs. It's not just rising costs or finding workers, those are problems too.
Sure.
It's this growing mountain of data, the complexity, and having no reliable AI system to help make sense of it all.
Yeah.
Think about the industrial areas in Rajkot or the textile looms in Tirupur, machining units in Coimbatore.
At heart of manufacturing.
Exactly. Those places need trustworthy data. It's absolutely essential for them to compete, to grow.
And it's right there in those critical real-world places that these hallucinations become devastating, not just a weird AI mistake.
Precisely. Ajay Kumar from Vexu Labs, he's quoted in the article, really nails it. For MSMEs, it's not just a flaw, it hits their finances directly.
And the article points out, even at these big global AI shows like Super AI recently,
June 18th, 19th.
loads of platforms claiming they're transformative.
Yeah.
But, and this is the kicker, most are built on these general-purpose language models
The big ones, yeah, like ChatGPT and similar systems.
that still hallucinate. They're trained on everything, basically. Massive data sets.
Right, which makes them good at sounding plausible, doing lots of language tasks.
But that generality seems to be the problem. They prioritize sounding human over being factually correct sometimes.
That's a good way to put it. They predict the next likely word, which isn't always the true word. It's a statistical game, often.
The article has this great line. While the world chases scale and speed, accuracy has quietly fallen through the cracks.
And that really hits the nail on the head. That's the gap.
So what's Vexu Labs doing differently? How are they tackling this accuracy problem?
Well, what's fascinating is their specific approach. Ajay Kumar, again, he emphasizes, the focus on factual accuracy is both rare and crucial.
Rare and crucial.
He adds that most AI tools today are built for showcase, not for reliability. That really resonates if you're a business needing something that just works consistently.
Right, not just a flashy demo.
Exactly. So Vexu Labs talks about their reasoning-first architecture. It involves things like compact models and local execution capabilities.
Okay, let's break that down. Reasoning first, compact, local execution. What does that mean in practice?
So instead of one giant AI model in the cloud trying to know everything, they seem to be building smaller, more specialized AI models designed for specific tasks. And critically, these models can run locally, right there on site.
So not sending data back and forth constantly.
Precisely. Which makes them efficient, potentially faster for certain tasks, and crucially, you can trace how they arrived at an answer more easily. It makes the decision process more transparent, verifiable.
Which cuts down on the confident guessing that leads to hallucinations.
That seems to be the core idea. Less black box guessing, more traceable logic. And this makes their AI, as the article notes, especially relevant for Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities.
Places like Ludhiana, Surat, Bhiwadi, where a lot of India's manufacturing muscle actually is.
Exactly. And Aditi Vartan, the co-founder, puts it very plainly. We didn't set out to build a shinier chatbot.
Yep.
We set out to solve the core flaw in AI itself, hallucinations. Their goal, AI that answers clearly, correctly, and fast.
Clearly, correctly, and fast. So if Vexu's approach is this trust-first intelligence, solving that core flaw, what does this say about the limits of the big general AI models we hear so much about? Is it just the hallucinations?
That's a really important question. The limitation often is their generality. They're designed for breadth, right?
Yeah.
Which often means they're better at statistical correlation, these words often appear together, than actual causal understanding A causes B. They predict based on patterns, not necessarily deep factual grounding.
So Vexu's reasoning first is about trying to build in more genuine logic.
That seems to be the aim. Deriving verifiable answers, not just plausible ones. Now, the trade-off with these compact local models is usually scope.
Meaning they can't do everything.
Exactly. They're specialized. They probably won't write you a sonnet or analyze a complex legal case.
Okay.
But for that specific manufacturing process, that specific supply chain problem, they could be far more reliable because they're purpose-built, focused, and their workings are clearer. Not a jack of all trades.
A master of one, very specific, critical trait.
Something like that, yes. Focused expertise.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. Connecting this specific tech solution to India's big picture goals.
Right, the $5 trillion economy target.
Exactly. The article suggests that maybe the real digital leap for India won't come from chasing these enormous billion-parameter models. We're just focusing on the big metro cities. Instead, it might come from, and I like this phrase, trust-first intelligence deployed deep within India's industrial backbone.
That's a powerful idea. Trust-first intelligence. Deployed deep.
Think about what that implies. It's more than just tech. It's almost a philosophical shift in AI strategy. What could this mean for AI adoption in critical sectors everywhere, not just India? Any industry that needs precision.
Well, what does it all mean? I think it brings us right back to that core challenge, AI reliability.
Yeah.
The big general models are still wrestling with hallucinations, often because, as we said, they're optimizing for fluency, for sounding good, maybe over being provably right. And then you have these specialized accuracy-first solutions emerging, like Vexu Labs seems to be doing, aimed squarely at real-world industrial problems where being wrong is costly.
So it underscores the need for critical thinking when businesses look at AI.
Absolutely. You have to ask, what is this tool really good at? Is it just impressive, or is it dependable for my specific critical need? It's about moving past the demo stage to actual, reliable deployment.
So what we've really dug into today boils down to this key difference, doesn't it? AI built for show versus AI built for reliability, for factual accuracy.
That's the core tension, I think.
And if that idea holds, that trust-first intelligence deep within India's industrial backbone is key to hitting that $5 trillion target. Here's something to think about as you continue your own learning journey.
Okay.
How might that paradigm shift, that focus on trust and specialized accuracy, influence AI development and adoption in other traditional non-tech sectors? Think agriculture, healthcare, logistics, construction, anywhere precise. Reliable data is paramount all around the world. What could that change look like? Something to ponder.